So in this network load balancer lab, we are going to see how to create Linux VM, how to install the web server on Linux VM, and how to host website. Then we will see how to create Windows VM. As I said just now, right? So on Windows VM, we are going to enable port 80. On Linux VM, we are going to enable, on Windows VM, we are going to enable port 8080. By default, port is 80, but we are going to change that port from 80 to 8080. And Linux VM, we are going to enable port 80. So based on the request, in request URL, if the user is mentioning port 8080, then all request will go to the Windows VM. If the request is having port 80, then that request will go to the Linux VM. This is based on the port. Okay. Next, we are going to see how to install IIS server and host website in Windows Mission. So as I said, right, we need to change port from 80 to 8080 in Windows VM. We are going to do that. How to do that? Next, we are going to see how to create inbound rule to allow traffic to VM on port 8080. So by default, if you are changing the port on 8080, port 8080, traffic will not be allowed inside Windows VM. So that's why you need to allow inbound rule inside Windows VM. That how to do that, we are going to see how to create target groups and register instances to the target group, how to create network load balancer. So these things we have seen already in application load balancer. Same things we are going to see now, how to edit the rules for load balancer. Here we are going to see network load balancer is the distribution of traffic based on the network variables such as IP address and destination ports. So as I said, right, if somebody is making a request with the port number 8080, those requests will go to the Windows VM. If somebody is making request through the port 80, those requests will go to the Linux VM. So network load balancer will not assure the availability of the application. Whatever application you have hosted in the VM, those applications are available or not, all those things will not be taken care by the your network load balancer. Remember, the overview of network load balancer is, so first I will create a Windows first I will create a Windows virtual machine, and I will attach to the target group one this Windows machine which is going to listen port 8080. I will change it. Okay, so somehow it is going to listen port 8080. Next we will have another EC2 instance, that is Linux VM, which is going to listen on port 80, and I am going to get the request through the load balancer. Okay, client will make the request, that request will hit on load balancer, network load balancer. Then based on the port number, if he is hitting with port number 8080, that request will go into this target group. Okay, if the client is requesting with port 80, that request will hit target group 2. Okay, so client will make the request, load balancer will receive that request. It will check whether it has a port 8080. If it has port 8080, that request will go to target group 1. In this, it will hit first EC2 instance. Okay, next we will have a port 80 here down. So this will be always connected, but based on the request, it will forward to target group 1 or target group 2. Okay, these are the differences between the application load balancer, network load balancer, all those things. So first we will see how we can develop this network load balancer now. Okay, just to come to the come here. Okay, this is the AWS portal, friends. Just now we have completed application load balancer, right? So now go back to EC2 instance now. EC2 service. So on this EC2 service, we have created 2 instances. This is for application load balancer, right? So now I will create one more Linux VM for my network load balancer. Click on launch instance. Okay, so this time you can select this Linux VM. Click select. Okay, then you can see micro. We know all these things. Then I want to have only one EC2 instance. You can enable this. So now I don't want to use a configuration script which is going to host our application at the time of launching instance, that I don't want to use at this time. Click add storage. This is the default storage I want to keep. Here you can say its name is, what you can do, this one is Linux VM. Okay, enabled port 80, Linux VM port 80. Okay, click configure settings. So as we know, we are going to connect to this particular VM, so that's why we need port 22 we need to enable, and we also going to access the application which we are going to host on this VM through the browser. We are going to host application which we are hosting on this server through the browser. If you want to access through browser, you need to enable HTTP, that is port 80. Click review. One second, this is you can say Linux VM SG security group. Okay, click review and launch, click launch. Okay, let me download one more key. That is, you can use the existing key or you can create a new key. This is, I can say, my Linux key. Okay, so just to make sure this is unique, I will use today date 2105. Okay, Linux key 2105. Download this key. Once you download this key, okay, you can launch the instance. Now Linux VM, which is running on the port 80, remember. Okay, come to EC2. Okay, we have enabled security group for port 80 and SSH 22 because we need to connect to the Linux VM, and whatever applications we have launched in Linux, we have hosted on Linux VM, those we need to access through the browser. To access through the browser, we need to enable port 80, port 22 to access the Linux VM through the PuTTY. Okay, remember. Now I want to launch one more instance. This time I will launch Windows VM. Okay, let's launch Windows VM. So select this first one. Then I want to use micro. Click configure instance. One, I want to enable the IP address. Click add storage, default storage, add tags. Here you can use name equal to, you can say Windows VM port 8080. Okay, it is going to listen on port 8080. Configure settings. So RDP file, if you want to connect to the this Windows machine, you need to enable port 3389. That is RDP. Then if you want to access the applications which you have hosted on the this Windows VM, you need to enable HTTP 80 by default. But this time, as I said, my Windows VM is going to listen port 8080. Okay, for that you need to click on custom TCP rule. I can say 8080, port 8080. Okay, so I want allow from anywhere. You can say from anywhere. Click review plus launch. Click launch. So this is basically I want to create a new one. So what you can do, Windows key, this is 2105. Download this key. Okay, so come down, click launch instance. Now what you have done, friends, we have launched two instances. One is Linux instance, one more is Windows instance. Go to EC2. Go inside running instances. See here, Windows VM is still creating, but Linux VM 80 is already created. Click on this. Now I want to connect to this particular Linux machine. How you can connect? Copy this. Okay. Before you connect to this Linux machine, what you need to do is you need to convert the keys. Okay, you need to convert the key Linux key from PEM format to the PPK format. See, the format here is PEM. You can see type is PEM file. You need to convert this PEM into PPK. How to convert PEM into the PPK? For that you need to download a PuTTyGen. How to download PuTTyGen? See, PuTTY download. You can say download. So just you can say download. Click on download PuTTY. Click here. So come down. You can see something called PuTTyGen. Okay. So click on 64-bit or 32-bit based on your system configuration. Click on 64-bit. Okay, so once you download that, you just have to download, then you can search here. This is exe file that will show here PuTTyGen. Okay, double click on that PuTTyGen.exe. Okay, so now you need to load that PM file. Load it. Okay, go to downloads. Okay, you have to say, see, it's PPK, but you have to say all files. Then you will show all. So Linux key 2105. This is the PM. Select it. Now I want to save it as a PPK. For that, save private key. Okay, where I want to save is on desktop. I have a something called keys. Here I can say Linux key 2105.ppk format. Okay, you can say all files, but PPK format I am giving it. PPK, save it, that's all. So this is how you need to save that. So now if you go inside these keys, right, if you go inside these keys, you can able to see Linux key 2105 in PPK format. Type is PPK. Now you need to use this file to log in into the Linux VM. How to do that? Let me show you that. Come here, go here, click on Linux VM 80, take the port. Before you take port, select this Linux VM, click connect. So what is the username? So this is the username. Okay, take this entire name. Okay, take this entire name. Open Putty. Okay, how to download Putty? Same. Come here. Okay, here you downloaded Puttygen, right? If you go up, you will have a putty.exe. Click on that, it will download. Save it somewhere. So once it is downloaded, you can just search for Putty, it will open. Double click on that, it will open Putty. Here you need to copy whatever you have copied from here. Whatever you have copied. How I have copied? Select this Linux VM, click connect, you will get this entire URL. Copy from here. Okay, copy this entire thing. Then I kept it here. From here to here. Okay, copy, go to Putty, and you remove this and put it, paste it. Now click SSH, click off, browse it. So here you need to select the PPK file. Okay, this is the PPK file which you have. Click open. Click yes. So now you have connected to the Putty. So let me maximize this text. Okay, so click apply. Now you can see, friends. So I just connected to the Linux VM. Now let me go to the root. See, currently it is saying EC2-user sudo space su means switch user, sudo means root. So I move to the root user. Now first I want to install the HTTPD. That is nothing but a Apache web server. How you can do that? install install httpd-y. So if you're not using -y, it will again ask the confirmation, do you want to install or not? That's why I'm confirming here itself. So httpd Apache server installed now. So then what you need to do is you need to check service httpd status, whether it is running or not. So currently it is httpd. Check. So it is stopped. I want to start it. How to start? I have to stop. Okay, it is started now. Now check status once again. So currently it is running. Okay, now in case of system reboots and all those things, this httpd server should start automatically. For that you need to use check config httpd on. So you just start the server when system rebooted. Okay, check config httpd on. You have to use this. Okay, that's all. Now what happens, you need to go to the default folder where www./html. So this is the default folder where you are going to host your websites. LL long list. See, you don't have any file. I want to put some file here. Those files will be accessed through the browser. So your application, you need to host it here. So I want to host my web application here. vi index.html. vi is a editor. Click on this. So I is insert. I want to write here h1. This is Linux VM which listens port 80. Okay, this is the content I am putting here. Okay, save it. Okay, I said what is the content we have in this index.html. You can see this is the Linux VM which listens port 80. Okay, I have kept here. So this is the index.html page I want to access. How to access it? Very simple. Okay, go to the Linux VM. This is the Linux VM. Select it. Okay, come here, put this URL. Then you have to say slash. You no need to give that also. Directly index.html page will be accessible. See, this is Linux VM which listens port 80. Same thing, whatever content we have written. Okay, suppose if I am creating subfolders here, mkdir, I can say something test folder. Okay, inside this test folder I don't have any files. Okay, let me go inside test. So inside this I don't have any files. I want to host my website inside this folder. So then vi index.html So we have to say here, okay, here we have to say h1, this is inside text folder. Okay, this is what I am giving. Now enter. So this index.html page available inside test. In this case, what you need to do here, you need to put /test/index.html. okay, so this is inside test folder. Why? Because you have hosted your application inside test folder. In that case, we have to host test/index.html. If you want to access the index.html, which is directly hosted under html folder, okay, see, current present working directory is where www.html. If you're hosting your website directly under html, then you don't need to mention this path, test and all those things. Okay, because you have hosted your application inside this test folder. Whatever extra folders you are creating after html, those folders you need to mention in the url. Okay, suppose if I am not mentioning this, what happens? By default, the website which you have hosted under html will be accessible. Okay, so let's not have a confusion. That's why what I will do is I will remove rmdir. So test folder, I want to remove it. So rmdir forceful, I think you can use something. Okay, 1 second. cd test. Okay, let me just check. Let me remove index.html. Yes, I want to remove it. See, now you don't have anything. So where you are currently, you are under test folder. You don't have anything. You don't have anything here. You can see. Okay. Now I will come out from the test folder where I am currently. I am under HTML. Now what are the folders files we have? So test folder and index.html we have. I want to remove this test folder, rmdir test. Okay, that's all. Now that is removed. We have index.html only. So now you can access this website through this URL. It is going to access the application which you have hosted. Okay, we are done with the Linux VM. Let's go to the Windows VM. Okay, uncheck this. How to get the username and password is click connect again. So this is the username, administrator. Password, get password. You have to browse the file which you have downloaded. Go to downloads. Here you have a Windows key 2105 PM file. Decrypt this key, then you will get the password. This is the password. Okay, this is the username, this is the password, this is a public DNS name. You have to take this, open your remote desktop, click on this. Okay, see here, you need to put your computer name, that is DNS name. You can put whatever name you are getting here, right? That name I have copy pasted here. Next username is administrator, copy it and put that username here. Next click connect. Okay, now it is asking password. How to get the password? This is the password. Copy this and go here and put the password. Click OK. So this is how you are going to connect to the Windows missions. We already know these things, right? So now I need to install the IIS server. Let me know, friends, if you have any confusion here. So these things already we have done. That's why I'm going a bit fast. Okay. Now, okay, here click on start. Server manager. You can search for server manager. Okay, this is the server manager. Okay, click on that. It will open server manager. See, server manager is opening. Okay, so now what happens is, see here there is a something called refresh is happening, right? That is done. So now click on add role and features. Server manager is collecting inventory data. The widget will be available after data collection finishes. Okay, some information it is collecting. See, something it is collecting still. Let's wait. Click. Yeah, still. Now try to click once again. Add roles and features. So now it is accessible. Click next. Click next. Click next. How to install IIS server? So just wait a while. Here, come down. You can see IIS. Select it. Okay. Click on this. Add feature. See, this is checked. Now click next. 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 Install. So now you are going to install the IIS. So go inside this computer. Go inside this PC. Go inside C folder. See, you don't have anything folder called inetpub, right? So once that installation is finished, you will be able to see something called inetpub folder. Inside that folder, you need to host your application. So to host your application, I am going to create a one application like some HTML page. Okay. In this notepad, let me create a one HTML page, that is, this is Windows VM which versions port 80 and 80. Okay. I want to save this file. Where I want to save? Save as. Go inside this PC. By now, IIS might be installed. See, inetpub came. Go inside inetpub, www root. Here you need to host this page. Index.html. Okay. All files. Click save. Okay. So this is the website I have hosted, right? Now come back. Okay. So take this IP address, Windows IP address, put it here. So what it is going to do, it is actually has to listen port 8080. Check it. Okay, it is not going to find because by default port is 80. Okay, but port 80 we have not enabled on security group. Come here. Okay, come down. Okay, on security group, you can see inbound rule. Click on inbound rule. See, we have enabled only port 8080 3389, but on port 8080 it is not accessible because by default it will listen port 80, but you are trying to access on port 8080. How you can change that? Come here. Okay, you need to do two things, friends. One is select your run. Okay, click on run. Okay, click on run. Here you need to say wf.msc. Enter. So it will open your inbound rules in this VM. Okay, click on inbound rules. Click new rule. Here you have to say port number. Click next. Which port you want to allow? Port 8080. Okay, click next. So I want to allow the connection. Click next. So I want to allow a connection from the private because currently I am using private network. Click next. So this is, I can say, my port 8080.
You check public.
Public only I am saying.
Okay.
Currently we are in public. Okay, click next. So this is port 8080 allowed. Click finish. That's all. So port 80 allowed. So this is not enough. If you want, you can check it. This is not enough. You need to do something else that I will show you. See, it is still not accessible. It should not take this much time. The reason is IIS is running currently on port 80. So how you can change that is click on this, click administrative tools. Okay, double click on that, come back, click on IIS manager, then expand this, click on sites, click on default web page, click on bindings. Okay, select it. See, port 80 it is listening. Click edit. I have to say not port 80, it should be port 8080. Click OK. Click close. Now you need to restart the IIS. How to restart? Click stop and stop. That's all. Click stop and stop. That's all. Now come back. Now access it. we have started it. You can close this. We have allowed port 80. Yeah, you can refresh this port. Okay, come back. Okay, so come here. Go here, take this IP once again, put it in another browser. Maybe that is not refreshing. One second. Okay, let's come here. What happened here? One second, please. Okay. Something. So let me share this. Okay, fine. So it is not accessible. Port 8080 we have allowed. Two things we have done, right? So let's click on this. Port 8080 we have allowed already. Port 8080 allowed here. I think we need to close this. Let's close this. Port 8080 we are allowing.
So notepad is open. Is it a problem?
Which one? Notepad open. No, this is okay.
You closed it.
One second. Let's go to the administrative tools once again. Let's check whether port changed from 80 to 8080 or not. Click on IIS information. Expand this. Click on default settings. Click bindings. Port 8080 is a default. Let's restart this. One second, please. Port 80 we have enabled. Let me create a new role. What we have done, port selected, click 80. Here we have selected 8080. Click next. So we have allowed the connection. Then we unchecked these two. We are allowing only public, right? So this one basically is something first. click finish. Now refresh, come back here. Okay, so let's do one thing. Click on this, click reboot your servers. Let's see now, at least you will get any luck. But it should work actually. On security. Okay, let's see security. Is there any mistake here? So let's put anywhere. We kept anywhere only actually. Save it. Okay, let's not waste the time. So let's do one more thing. Launch one more instance, Windows mission, same mission. Maybe I think the problem with the mission. Okay, so Windows, click same mission, so same type. Okay, fine. Click on this. Enable security. Click add storage. Add storage. Name you can see it's a Win W8080. Okay, Windows mission on port 8080 we want to listen. So let's enable port 8080 custom port. Okay, because we don't want normal 80, so we want port 8080. Click launch. So you can use the existing key, or you can use the new key also, no problem. You can create a new key. This one you can say Windows 2 W2 key 2105. Download key. Come down, click launch instance. Let's see friends, on this instance we will try to check same things you need to do actually, but there is a issue with that VM itself. Okay, so leave these things. Now we'll see on this new VM we will try to set up all those things. Okay, so W8080 is fine, it is initializing, but just to take the IP address, anything is fine actually. So click on remote desktop. Okay, so you just have to put the IP address here. Username is, you have to put administrator. Okay, so here I need to get and put the administrator. How you can do that? So select this Windows, click connect, is the administrator. Put that username here, click connect. It is requesting for the password. Come here, click get password. So what it is saying, password not available yet. Please wait at least 4 minutes after launching an instance before trying to retrieve the auto generated password. Because the key we have generated, that key we have to decrypt to get the password. Okay, so let's wait some more time. Let's wait 1 more minute. Okay, so let's browse new thing. What is the thing? So W2 key 2105. This is the password. So password, take the password, put it here, click OK, click yes. Search for server manager here. So you can double click on that. We need to host IIS server first. Okay. It is collecting some data, so we need to wait. So before that, let me show you. So if you go here, right, click on this PC, go inside this C folder. See, you don't have inet pub folder. Once you install IIS server, then only you can able to see this particular folder, inet pub folder. Inside that, you are going to host your application. So add role features, click next, next, next. Okay. So select this web server, select it, click add feature, click next, 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 install it. Okay. So it is going to install. So once installation is finished, what it is going to do is, it is going to create the inet pub here, folder will come. So meanwhile, I will open Notepad here. I will create a one index.html page. Here you can say h1. This is Windows 2 mission, which lesion port 8080. So go to this PC. So just now we have seen inet pub was not there. Now you see it has not come yet. So it will come. Meanwhile, you save this file on desktop. I think it came now. See inet pub came. Okay, go inside folder, go inside root. Here you need to place your file. Okay, this is index.html. Save it. So this is the thing, friends. So this is still hosting, that is fine. Okay, it is still installing, that is okay. But now what you need to do, okay, let's wait until installation finished, because installation is important. Let it finish. Okay, this is finished, I think. Installation succeeded. Okay, you can close this. Now if you go to this Windows machine W2, okay, take the IP address of this, try to access things on port 8080. So it will not be accessible. You need to do two things, as I said, right? So one is open your search for run. I have to show you 1 second, please. Okay, wf.msc. To search here wf.msc. Enter. So we need to allow port 8080 here. First thing, okay, click on inbound, new rule. Same things I'm going to do. Port, click next. Click port 8080. Click next. So I want allow connection. I want allow from public internet. Click next. There's something first. Something first. Some name you can give. Click finish. Okay, that's all. Now just click refresh one times. Fine. So you can close this window now. Second thing that you need to do, see now also your website will not be accessible. Okay. So now you come back, go to administrative tools. Go inside IIS manager, expand this, expand sites, go to default website, click on bindings. So this is having port 80, you need to edit it and you need to put here 8080. Click OK, click close. You can restart it or you can stop it and start it once. Come back. See, this is available now. See, automatically it is refreshed. It's automatically. See, this is from Windows 2 mission which listens on port 8080. See, I have done same steps even in the previous mission, but it was not working. So in those cases, the advantage of the cloud is you don't need to replace, you don't need to make a request for the replacement and all those things. Quickly you can create a new instance. Okay, on the fly you can able to solve your business problems. Okay, whatever problems you have on the fly you can create a new server. Okay, this is clear now. So I am able to make a request on this. I'm able to access my website through through port number 8080. Okay, now if you use 80, it will not be accessible. It will not be accessible. See, it is still searching. At some point in time, it will say it is not accessible. But if you use port 8080, enter, see immediately it is already displayed the content here. Okay, it's not searching for any application. Clear, friends? So now two applications are accessible, two VMs, two applications are accessible. So our first application is Linux VM 80, second application is Windows 8080. Okay, so now come back, come down. So now you can create target groups, two target groups. Okay, create a target group. This is, you can say, Linux 80 TZD target group. Okay, TZD. So how it is going to listen? So on TCP port 80, it is going to you are going to access this Linux target group VMs through the port 80. Okay. Next thing is so protocol also, health checks also has to be done through this protocol, that is TCP 80. Okay. So you can go to advanced here, you can see same things, healthy thresholds, all those things. So continuously, if it is receiving 3 times server is healthy, then it will finalize that this server is healthy. If it is receiving 3 times continuously server is not healthy, then it will think that this server is unhealthy. If it is receiving now it is unhealthy, next time when I check it is saying healthy, then I'm not confirming that it is healthy or unhealthy. We don't know. That's why continuously 3 times if you receive 3 times unhealthy, then you are declaring that this server is dead. So every 30 seconds you are going to check whether this server is healthy or not. Okay, timeout 10. So if you're not receiving any response within 10 seconds, then you are thinking that this server is not healthy. That is timeout error. You are going to click create. So we have created one target group. Next target group I want to create, that is Windows 8080 TCD. Okay, so this is also on TCP 8080. This is port number 8080, friends. If it is HTTP, it is 80, but it is actually 8080 Windows, right? So come down. So it's a TCP on same TCP. I want to make request, same things which we have discussed. Click create. So now we have created two target groups, but we have not attached any servers, any EC2 instances. Now click on Linux 80 target group, go to targets, click edit. You have to register VMs here. Here you can see VMs we have. Which VM we have to register for that? So Linux VM 80. Add register, save it. Okay, now go to Windows 80 target group, click edit targets, come down. We have to select W8080. Okay, this is the server. Add register, come down, save it. Okay, now we have saved these two things, right? Now what you need to do, see, this is unused. Okay, in the same way, if you go here, if you go there, this is also unused because we are not attached these things. We are not connected to the load balancer. Now come to load balancer. Okay, one more thing also you need to remember. This is port 80 Linux. Okay, if you go here, it is port 8080. Okay, now go to load balancers. Click create a load balancer, network load balancer. So this is, I can say, my NLB, network load balancer, internet facing. Then you need to have a two listeners. One is on 80, another on 8080, friends. Okay, another on port 8080. Remember. Next, come down. You have to tell same thing. So this network load balancer should be able to access the servers which we have in these resource in these availability zones. If you think this network load balancer should not access any server from this particular availability zone, don't check this. But currently I want allow my network load balancer to access all the servers. So that's why I'm selecting. Click configure settings, click configure remote. Here you need to select your existing target group. That is my Linux 80 TCD. Okay, so Linux means TCP port 80. We know already. Click register. Click review. Click create. So it is creating. Now close it. Okay, click on my NLB. Go to listeners. See here, port 80 and port 880 both are listening. Like both are forwarding to the Linux 80 TCD. But port 8080 should not go to the Linux 80 TCD. It should go to the Windows 8080 TCD. Click on edit. Come down. Click here. Okay, come down. Select here Windows 8080 TCD. Select it. Click update. Okay, now come back. Okay, see now. So port 80 will go to the Linux 80. Port 8080 will go to the Windows. Now come to description. Take the DNS name. Come here. Here. So just use 80. Enter. Yeah. So why this is not accessible? Okay. The thing is here you need to see NLB is still provisioning. Okay. So that is the reason. Just wait a while. One minute so that this will come up. Okay, this will come into the active state. See, this application load balancer is active, but our NLB is not active still. Let's wait a while.
Malaya, one question here.
Yeah, tell me, Nakashish.
Yeah, so I think in real time we are not going to give like this actually :8080. We have to give a static IP. I think automatic it will convert based upon the availability, right?
Yes, correct. You can give that.
Okay. How we have to do that
Yes.
one means without
In configuration file, you need to change that. We will see.
okay, thank you.
But here you are just checking. See, let's say you have multiple URLs, right? You can put port 80 here and next URL port 8080. So some traffic will go to the port 80, some traffic will go to the port 8080 because based on the requirement. Okay, that's how you are going to direct your traffic. So instead of putting entire pressure on one target. Difference between application load balancer and network load balancer you need to understand. We already discussed network load balancer. What happens is our request, our traffic will be redirected based on the port number or IP address. But application load balancer, our request will be forwarded based on the path in the request URL path. Based on the path, our traffic will be forwarded. Okay, forwarded. Next thing you need to understand one more thing is in network load balancer, it is not going to check whether your application is available or not. But in application load balancer will keep checking your application is available or not. If it is available, then only it is going to trigger the, it is going to forward the request to that particular server. Okay. Next thing is network load balancer. Once it is received the request, that request will be there throughout the process. But application load balancer, once it receive the request, once it hit on the load balancer, their client connection will be stopped. From there will be separate security groups to take the request and process it. Okay. See, this is active now. Come here, access it. So let me just put here :80. So if you're not putting :80 also, this is okay. Close this, take this DNS, put it, enter. See, this is Linux VM which listens port 80 because by default it is port 80. Now if I go to the port 8080, enter. See, this is from Windows to Mission which listens on port 8080. Okay. Enter port 80. If you're simply accessing DNS, it will go to the default port 80. But in config file, if you set this one to go to the by default 8080, then you can do that. Okay. So here 8080. See, this is from Windows to Mission, which listens on port 8080. Okay, it's clear. Okay. So if you want to see the differences between these two things, you can able to see here. See here. So one second. So here you can see, friends, the difference between application load balancer, network load balancer, and classic load balancer. So